What time does Preakness 2024 start? Mystik Dan seeks second Triple Crown win. Mystik Dan will have to beat Bob Baffert-trained Imagination, Brad Cox's Catching Freedom and Chad Brown's Tuscan Gold, who are the main challengers, and the Preakness could be run on a muddy track. Rain was falling at Pimlico Racecourse on Saturday hours before Kentucky Derby winner Mystik Dan goes for back-to-back Triple Crown victories when he takes on 7 other horses in the Preakness Stakes. He would be the first to win both the Derby and the Preakness since Justify in 2018. That would set up an unusual and historic moment next month with a Triple Crown on the line at the Belmont Stakes. Mystik Dan will have to beat Bob Baffert-trained Imagination, Brad Cox's Catching Freedom and Chad Brown's Tuscan Gold, who are the main challengers, and the Preakness could be run on a muddy track, with showers expected to continue throughout the afternoon. What time does Preakness 2024 start? The post time is at 6:50 p.m. Eastern Time, but you can catch the coverage on NBC starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, or stream on Peacock. Baffert was set to saddle 2 horses in the race set to go off just after 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time, but morning line favorite Muth was scratched during the week because of a fever. Mystik Dan opened Saturday as the 3-1 favorite, with Catching Freedom and Tuscan Gold each 7-2 and Imagination 9-2. Catching Freedom trained really well going into the Derby, Mystik Dan's trainer, Kenny McPeak, said this week. He's a very nice horse. And Bob, he wouldn't bring a horse without it being a good horse, and Chad's also got a horse coming out of, finishing 3rd behind winner Catching Freedom in the Louisiana Derby. Yeah, it's not a given. It was not a given that McPeak would send Mystik Dan to Baltimore on a 2-week turnaround from the Colts' exhausting win by a nose in the Kentucky Derby. But he's one of 3 horses from that race running in the Preakness, up from 1 last year and 2 in 2022. Many trainers' reluctance to do the Derby Preakness double, once the norm for horses on the Triple Crown Trail, has raised questions about the prestige of the Middle Jewel and concerns that it has become the unwanted stepchild of the series. There are debates about spacing the races out to adapt to modern thoroughbreds that race less frequently than in previous eras. This will be the final Preakness at aging Pimlico Racecourse as it stands now, with demolition set to begin early next year. The 150th running in 2025 will still take place at the track during construction before moving to Laurel Park in 2026 and then returning to a rebuilt Pimlico in 2027. When is the Belmont Stakes and where? The final leg of the Triple Crown is taking place on June 8, and for the first time, at the Saratoga Racecourse in upstate New York because of renovations at Belmont Park in New York City. Construction is expected to last into 2025. So there's a good chance of the Belmont at Saratoga 2 years in a row. Racing in New York is currently happening at Aqueduct in Queens, which was home to the Triple Crown finale from 1963 to 67, the last time Belmont Park was renovated.